In a world where everyone is chasing, reacting, lashing out, and losing themselves in the heat of the moment, the rarest trait is not money, not status, not looks, it's self-control. Think about it. Most people today are prisoners of impulse. They get provoked and they snap. They feel lonely and they chase. They feel envy and they gossip. Their emotions run their lives, and they wear it like a badge of honor, as if being reckless is the same as being real. But there's nothing powerful about being controlled by what you can't control. The strongest person in the room isn't the one who shouts the loudest or flexes the hardest. It's the one who stays calm when everyone else is falling apart. That's the person people respect. That's the person no one can manipulate. And that's the person you can become if you choose self-control over self-destruction. And if you're serious about mastering this, about breaking toxic cycles and becoming untouchable emotionally, I put everything you need in my ebook, Surviving the Toxic Bond. Download it through the link in the description and pinned comment. It's your survival guide to breaking free and taking back control. The truth is, self-control isn't just rare, it's almost extinct. Look around you. Scroll through social media for 5 minutes and you'll see what I mean. Outbursts, oversharing, impulsive rants, people leaking every raw emotion onto the timeline because they can't hold it together for a single moment. In relationships, you see people blow up their own chances at something real because they couldn't resist the urge to chase, to argue, to demand attention the second they felt insecure. In money, you see people work hard all week, then throw it away in one night because they couldn't resist the dopamine hit of buying something shiny. In life, you see people lose friendships, jobs, even opportunities, all because they couldn't control themselves when it mattered most. And here's the part no one likes to admit. When you have no self-control, you are predictable. You are easy to manipulate. You are a puppet on strings pulled by your emotions, and the world will happily exploit that weakness. That's why those who master self-control stand out so strongly. It's not just about staying calm, it's about becoming untouchable. Because when you don't rise to every bait, when you don't chase every high, when you don't react to every provocation, you're suddenly operating on a level most people can't reach. You gain time, you gain clarity, and most importantly, you gain respect. People start to notice that you move differently, that you don't crumble under pressure, that you're not desperate for validation like everyone else. And in a world where everyone else is reacting, the one who can pause, breathe, and choose their response has the real power. That's the foundation of why self-control is the ultimate flex. It separates you instantly from the chaos of the crowd. The world we live in doesn't just make it easy to lose control, it's engineered that way. Social media algorithms are built to hijack your nervous system, showing you outrage, drama, and temptation on a loop until you crack. Every headline is crafted to provoke anger or fear because calm people don't click, and clicks mean money. Every marketing campaign is designed to bypass logic and hit you where you're weakest, your impulses. Limited time only, flash sale, don't miss out. They're not selling products, they're selling urgency, because urgency kills self-control. And it doesn't stop there. Toxic people use the same tricks. They'll provoke you, ignore you, guilt trip you, all to pull you out of your frame so they can regain control. If you rise to the bait, they win. If you lose your cool, they win. If you over-explain, over-apologize, or overreact, they win. But when you master self-control, you flip the entire game upside down. Suddenly, the algorithm doesn't hook you. The provocation doesn't move you. The manipulation doesn't land. And that's when people around you and the world itself start to get uncomfortable because they can't pull you like a puppet anymore. That discomfort is respect in disguise. They might not admit it, but deep down, they know you're operating on a higher level. They know they can't bend you with the same tricks that work on everyone else. And in a society built on distraction and manipulation, calm detachment isn't just rare, it's revolutionary. That's why self-control isn't passive, it's an act of rebellion. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, patience over anger, silence over reaction, you're refusing to be another pawn in the game. You're proving you own yourself when everyone else is being owned by the world. In a chaotic world, most people think the loudest one in the room has the most strength. The person who shouts the hardest, reacts the fastest, or posts the most online, that's who they mistake for powerful. But the truth is the opposite. Noise is insecurity with a microphone. The one who cannot sit in silence is a slave to his emotions. The one who must always clap back, always defend himself, always prove a point. That man is not in control, he's controlled. Controlled by his anger, by his ego, by his fear of being unseen. Self-control strips the illusion away. When you stay calm in a storm, you expose the storm for what it is, just noise. When someone insults you when you don't flinch, the insult hangs in the air like dead weight, making the speaker look small. When chaos swirls around you and you stand still, people feel your gravity. Because you didn't join the panic, you made the panic revolve around you. That's why the strongest flex isn't exploding when someone disrespects you. It's smiling, holding your frame, and letting their words collapse under their own weakness. That's why the most powerful move when someone ghosts you, rejects you, or plays games isn't chasing, begging, or proving your worth. It's staying still, knowing your value is untouchable. The weak think strength is reaction. The wise know strength is restraint. Every king who ever ruled without self-control eventually fell to his own impulses. Every empire that crumbled began rotting from within because they mistook indulgence for power. Remember this, power that leaks through impulse is temporary. Power contained through discipline is permanent. That's why noise dies down, but calm lasts forever.
Respect isn't something you scream for. It's something people feel in your presence. And nothing demands respect more than self-control. When you don't bite at every provocation, when you don't chase every impulse, when you don't let people pull you like a puppet on strings, you radiate something that people can't fake: composure. Think about it. The boss who loses his temper in meetings doesn't earn loyalty, he earns fear. The partner who cries, begs, or explodes after being rejected doesn't earn love, they lose attraction. But the man who can take disrespect, rejection, or even betrayal and remain calm, he earns a reputation no one can buy. People might not like you, but they'll respect you. They'll hesitate before testing you again because you didn't give them the reaction they wanted, and now they're left with their own reflection. That's the quiet revenge of self-control. You don't have to lift a finger because you let their own chaos burn them out. It works in every field. In business, people trust the calm operator when everything is falling apart. In relationships, people desire the one who doesn't beg or break when attention is withdrawn. In life, people follow those who keep their head while everyone else is losing theirs. Self-control is rare, and anything rare gets valued. It makes you unpredictable in a world where most people are easy to manipulate. Someone insults them, they snap. Someone ghosts them, they chase. Someone disagrees, they argue. Predictable. But you don't flinch. You don't rush. You move only when you decide it's worth moving. That's power. And that's why people who may never say it out loud will still study you, still second-guess themselves around you, still feel your presence, even in silence. You didn't demand respect. You created an atmosphere where disrespect couldn't survive. Everywhere you look, something is trying to pull your attention, your emotions, your energy. Social media thrives on outrage. Businesses thrive on your lack of discipline. Toxic people thrive on your reactions. The world profits when you lose self-control, because a reactive person is an easy person to manipulate. But here's the truth. The moment you master self-control, you build a fortress around your peace. Someone tries to guilt-trip you, you don't react, you observe. Someone tries to bait you into an argument, you don't feed it, you stay silent. Someone tries to ghost you, breadcrumb you, or play power games. You don't chase. You carry on with your life. And what happens? They lose their grip. The chaos loses its hold, because chaos needs you to engage with it to survive. Self-control is the art of starving the things that drain you. It's not that life stops being messy. It's that you stop being owned by the mess. Think about how many sleepless nights people spend over someone else's words, someone else's silence, someone else's rejection. That's borrowed suffering. That's slavery to another person's behavior. But when you practice self-control, you remind yourself, I don't control them, I only control me. That truth is liberation. Suddenly, their insults are just noise. Their silence is just space. Their rejection is just redirection. Nothing they do has the power to destabilize you anymore. That's why self-control is more than just a flex. It's a shield. It guards you from being pulled into cycles of drama you didn't create. And when you stop feeding the chaos, you notice something else. Peace becomes addictive. Quiet confidence becomes your natural state. You stop craving storms, and you start thriving in calm waters. And that's when you become untouchable, because the world can only harm you if it can provoke you. Most people think power comes from control over others. They think it's about influence, persuasion, or dominance. But the deepest form of power has nothing to do with bending someone else's will. It's about mastering your own. Self-control creates leverage, because when you're calm in situations where others lose their composure, you immediately stand taller. When everyone else is triggered, you're the one who doesn't take the bait. That makes people respect you, even the ones who dislike you. They can't rattle you, and in a world addicted to reaction, that makes you rare. Here's the paradox. The less you try to control others, the more power you have over the dynamic. Think about arguments. When you start shouting, you hand over control. The other person knows they got under your skin. But when you remain calm, detached, measured, they feel their own lack of control in comparison. You flipped the balance without saying a word. This is the leverage of self-control. People can't use your emotions against you if you don't hand them over. Toxic partners can't guilt-trip you if you don't take the guilt. Manipulators can't bait you if you refuse to bite. Even in the workplace, self-control makes you a leader without a title. When chaos hits, the one who stays composed naturally becomes the one people look to. And here's the key. It's not manipulation, because you're not forcing anyone's hand. You're simply mastering yourself, and others adjust to that gravity. The man who doesn't need to respond to every insult, who doesn't flinch at every silence, who doesn't rush to prove himself. That's the man who ends up in control. People trust his steadiness, fear his patience, and respect his restraint. That's why self-control is the ultimate flex. It creates an aura of unshakable presence. You don't need to fight for attention, because the way you carry yourself commands it. In a world of noise, silence becomes power. In a world of chaos, calm becomes influence. Self-control is the foundation that makes all of that possible. Here's the truth most people never understand. Every time you practice self-control, you're not just surviving that moment, you're rewiring your entire nervous system to handle life differently. Self-control isn't about one argument, one temptation, one outburst. It's about building a foundation where your emotions no longer dictate your destiny. Think about how most people live. They're slaves to impulse. They eat because they crave, they speak because they're angry, they spend because they're restless, they text because they're lonely. And every time they give in, they reinforce the chains that keep them stuck. But the person who resists, who pauses, who doesn't react immediately, that person is training their mind like a muscle. Over time, that self-control becomes automatic. What used to throw you off no longer touches you. What used to feel unbearable now feels small. This is resilience, real resilience, not the kind people post about on Instagram, but the kind that makes you impossible to break. And here's the paradox. Self-control doesn't make you rigid, it makes you free. Because the more control you have over yourself, the less control the world has over you. You can walk away from toxic people because you don't need their validation. You can stay disciplined with your money because you're not controlled by the urge to impress strangers. You can keep pushing towards your goals because you're not ruled by the laziness that whispers tomorrow. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's being strong enough not to do what weakens you. And in a world where everyone is reacting, chasing, and breaking under pressure, resilience and freedom are the rarest currencies of all. Self-control is what buys them. Every time you hold the line, every time you stay calm when others explode, every time you choose discipline over impulse, you're building a fortress inside yourself that no storm can breach. That's why those who master self-control become untouchable in the long run.
At the end of the day, every form of strength people chase, money, muscles, power, intelligence, means nothing without self-control. Because without it, all of those things turn against you. Money without discipline becomes greed. Muscles without discipline become vanity. Intelligence without discipline becomes arrogance. Power without discipline becomes corruption. But when you fuse self-control with any of these things, you become unstoppable. That's why in a chaotic world, self-control is the ultimate flex. It's the one thing that can't be bought, can't be faked, and can't be stolen. You either earn it through discipline or you live at the mercy of your impulses. Look around and you'll see. The loudest person in the room usually isn't the strongest. The angriest person usually isn't the toughest. And the most indulgent person is usually the weakest. The true strength is in the one who doesn't need to prove it. The one who can walk away when their ego screams to stay. The one who can keep their silence when their pride begs to speak. The one who can endure discomfort without begging the world to make it easier. Self-control is the weapon of the wise. It allows you to navigate chaos without becoming chaos. And here's the irony. When you master self-control, you no longer even feel the need to flex it. You just live it. People see it in how calm you are, how unshaken you remain, how little you need from others to stay at peace. They notice your restraint and feel your strength without you ever needing to announce it. That's the rarest form of power in today's world, because when chaos reigns and everyone else is breaking down, your composure is the sharpest signal of strength they've ever seen. That's the ultimate flex, not showing the world what you can do, but showing yourself what you don't need to do. At the end of the day, self-control isn't about winning arguments, impressing strangers, or proving your worth to anyone. It's about mastering yourself so completely that the world loses its power over you. That's why in a society that runs on impulse, distraction, and fake validation, calm discipline will always be the ultimate flex. So don't just watch this video and move on, apply it. The next time you feel your emotions boiling over, the next time someone tries to drag you into their chaos, remember, silence and control are more powerful than any reaction. That's how you win without lifting a finger. If this resonated with you, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway so I know this message landed, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you're ready to take these lessons deeper and break free from the toxic cycles that test your self-control the most, you already know where to go. Download my ebook, Surviving the Toxic Bond. The link is right there in the description and the pinned comment. This is Stoic Night. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and never let the chaos own you.